Shh. Today on Nerd Out, we're gonna talk about A Quiet Place for A Quiet Place Week. Well, Nerd Out, the show we nerd out. My name's JustinTime, and today we're gonna be talking about A Quiet Place because it's A Quiet Place Week. A Quiet Place comes out Friday. A Quiet Place 2 comes out Friday. Not sponsored. This whole week is not sponsored. I wish it was, but it's not. Anyways, I have my script. I'm going to talk about a video game concept for A Quiet Place, and we're going to get to it. So basically, this would be a movie tie-in game, and to explain what a movie tie-in game is, it's usually like back in the 2000s, movies used to get some tie-in video games along with them. Prime example. So a movie tie-in game is where a movie will come out, and then a video game following the movie would come out, and sometimes the video games dealt differently from the movie. For example, this one, there's a ending where Anakin actually kills Obi-Wan and then becomes the Emperor because he kills the Emperor afterwards. So A Quiet Place's game would kind of be a movie tie-in, but less of you playing as the Abbott family, but more of open world survival. But if you haven't seen the movie, I highly recommend it. Go check it out. It's a pretty great film, and its concept is amazing. But if you don't care, let's get right into the video. So the game would be a survival horror game. Think something like The Forest from 2014, but instead of surviving on an island inhabited by cannibals, it's a Midwestern farming community with aliens that, at their shortest, 5'7", which is about the height of Emily Blunt, and they'll hunt you if you make a noise. Like I said before, I think it should be an open world, and for a setting, we usually get stuff like the East Coast and the West Coast. So let's just go with southern central Wisconsin. Cause I think it's a great setting, and I'm not biased. I wish more movies took place in the Midwest. So looking at a map, we have all of these counties in Wisconsin at our disposal. And just cause I love Crawford County, I'll throw that in too. In the whole span of southern Wisconsin, which would be probably a huge world for a game, but just as a range of different terrain types in that, you have two different types. You have the east side, which is more of the agriculture farming, and then on the west side of southern Wisconsin, you have more of the bluffs that you could traverse and maybe set up and use the high ground. There's a lot of Star Wars references in this Quiet Place video, isn't there? For supplies, you could want locations like Madison, Prairie du Chien, and Wisconsin Dells for being huge for a lot of supplies. Another great thing you can use these big cities for is there's trade-offs. Even though there's more shelter and more resources, it's probably more dangerous because it's more noisy. It's easier to make noise and get spotted by a creature. Now let's get into the juicy stuff. Combat and defense against the... Also, you may have wondered why I was calling them the Aros. It's because they are called the Aros. In the movie, the Abbott's family did everything they could to stay quiet. To inform you how exactly the hearing of the Aros is, the villain's wiki for them says they can detect even the most subtle of changes in sounds as little as a floorboard creaking miles away. Defense. Give the character a slot that allows them to quickly pour sand while walking. Also, another defense is being able to sound dampen your base. In the movie, the Abbotts used newspaper to dampen the sounds of the barn's basement for the arrival of their newborn. This next motive is a little more offensive than defensive, but it can help the player in the pinch. The player should be able to place stuff like alarms or oven timers to strategically get out of danger if an alien is stalking them. Emily Blunt's character does this when she is trapped in the basement of the family's farmhouse. A suggestion my friend Travis, who you've seen on the channel before, gave me is that the game should have a class system for replayability and an end game or progression system so you don't get bored. But the classes are hard to figure out because if we go by Wisconsin, the classes for Wisconsin are farmer, doctor, and construction worker. Farmer, obviously, you'd be better off making food and that, and probably more skilled in hunting. I'd give them that. The and hunting and gathering. Doctor, you're more skilled in health or whatever. And then construction worker, I don't know, and I work in the trades, and it's the loudest thing on this list. I think the most quiet trade you could be in is painting. That's not bashing painters, that's complimenting them, because they'll survive in a quiet place, because their job is literally just... But progression system could be you get to a point where you could almost not worry about the creatures, where you would only worry if you get like 4 or 5 of them at once in a confined space like a building, and maybe an end game item is armor made from the armor plates of the creatures you successfully killed. That armor thing might be pushing the lore of A Quiet Place, but it just adds some end game stuff to the game, as well as kind of gives you like a little incentive to go fight them, even though the whole game, the purpose is to not fight them. And you could probably play the whole game without fighting them, but still, for the people that want to fight them, it'd be nice to fight the Aros. And this doesn't take into account A Quiet Place 2 on if there's any other methods of killing Aros or surviving from them, and that it's all strictly from what we see in the first movie. So if anything new happens in A Quiet Place Part 2, I'll probably make a follow-up video on this. But that's my concept idea for a Quiet Place video game. I really want to have like a video game that stresses silence and it's a survival horror, and A Quiet Place kind of fits that perfectly. I guess I'm just saying, game developers, can someone make it? But let me know what you guys think of the game. Maybe you guys have some things that you want to add into it. The comments are open for discussion for this idea. So let me know in the comments below what you think, if you think it would be a cool game to play, or other ideas for like mechanics and that. Go right ahead. But until the next video, I'll see you in the future. Bye guys.